And we're back. What's up, everybody? Benja Welldone coming at you live on this beautiful Corona-free day. Today is Friday, October the 21st at 5:46 in the morning. How are you doing? So, freedom. You know what? Freedom is such an interesting word because in some aspects it has to do with your physical body being free, right? And in other aspects, it has to do with what you can think. Now, you see, the reason I'm saying this is because in now today's day and age, you may be free of movement. You're not being detained. You know, you have actual physical freedom. But truthfully, I don't really believe that you have intellectual freedom. And the reason why I say that is the reason I'm going to tell you now. So here's the thing. I do stand-up comedy. And it is so much easier to just open your thoughts like a sink or a well or a waterfall, whatever, right? And just let those thoughts freely flow out and stuff like that. Just continuous, right? Just continuing to just come out, and whatever happens, it might not be a good idea, but you're still thinking freely, okay? Now, it is so much harder to think about something in a creative way because every time I start thinking about something, I tell myself, oh, I can't say that. Oh, I can't say that. And you can say these certain things, but not without the amount of freedom that you could before. And it's an interesting concept and point of view to think. You know, how free are your thoughts really? Are you free? Are you free to think something, to express it? I don't mean committing any crimes, but that alone is also subjective. Is it a crime to express your free thoughts? Okay, maybe you can think them, right? What I'm getting is this. I'm writing all of this comedy. And I keep having these like weird sticking points to where I know that if I say something in today's day and age is brilliant or is creative or smart or risky or just none of the above, it still may be potentially, not purposely, but indirectly offensive towards somebody. You know, there's that whole thing about like ordering a pizza for like 50 people and trying to like order a pizza that everyone is gonna like. That whole, you know, metaphor, thought experiment kind of a thing. It's no different than this, because if you order a pizza, one guy isn't gonna like pepperoni, one guy isn't gonna like cheese, one guy's gonna be vegan, one guy only wants mushrooms, whatever, right? Fill in the blank, it doesn't matter. But the point is that that's where I'm at as far as comedy goes, because everything that I do may offend someone. I think it's a very wise belief. You know, somebody said once that you have to be free to offend someone in order to seek the truth, and I think that that speaks volumes, because the reality is that even though you're not trying to offend someone, when you're trying to come to like a conclusive point about something, you may say some things that are offensive. You may say, you know, and it could be related to something scientific or math or science. You're seeing how people with Corona were getting blacklisted and banned and shadow banned for expressing their opinions when they are experts in that field. You're not going to see me commenting on some sort of a shock proteins or anything like that, right? But I should be able to make some, you know, some statements and stuff, being very creative in thought and not be ridiculed by it. It really is a strange thing, and I keep on harping on this because I really am working on like my first 1 hour of comedy, and the stuff that I have now is so good, but I also truly believe that I'm going to come out kind of like with different flavors of 1 hours. I'm going to have 1 hour where it's completely clean. Now, you know what's great about working completely clean? not suggestive. Clean comedy doesn't mean clean from everything, but it can be. You could have clean comedy and it could just mean you're not using any bad words, but it's suggestive material, so it could be offensive again to somebody else. You see the door that I'm running into, right? Clean comedy could also mean no suggestive material, no, it could be potentially offensive, and it's just very corny. But I mean, it could be good, and no bad words, but I sort of feel like I'm running circles in my mind, because everything I'm trying to do has to do with expression, and everything that I'm doing right now, almost everything that I'm doing, can be potentially offensive, and I'm spending so much time into the preservation of someone else's feelings. I'm spending less time trying to be more effective in making people laugh. That is when it is a losing battle, and you know that you have to make a correction. If my goal is to make you laugh, and I switch my primary goal with not offending you, you see how that could be a problem? Now, I don't have an answer for this, but I have been contemplating, doing a lot of deep thinking, and I'm going to continue to have a lot of deep thoughts and deep thinking about it until I have an answer. But I'm telling you right now, there's a problem, and I don't really know what the answer is. But this is also part of the creative process. This is part of the creative process that, in me, the problem solver, that sees this, and it's like I'm trapped, and I'm trying to get out of a box, but this is a verbal box. It's like a word sandwich. I gotta find my way through it. You know what I mean? I just gotta work my way out of this, and come through like a tunnel. You know what I mean? To the other side. And I just feel like I'm trapped in all directions, but at a distance I see there's some light at the end of the tunnel. I know I can do it. This isn't a hard thing to do. And I think it just takes the proper frame of mind to start that thinking. And once you can be in that frame, then you can think freely. But you got to realize that you got to put up certain borders around you, if that makes sense. You got to put up certain walls, some mental barriers, which isn't ideal by any means. But I don't mean like, I don't want to speak in circles, but what I'm saying is like, you really have to like think inside of a box is what I'm getting at. As opposed to thinking outside of a box, which could be potentially a much better product, but outside of the current day freedom of thought limits. So again, I'm going to be working on this very diligently. And, when I have these shows, it's not always funny. It's motivational, but it is consistent, and it's always psychological, and it always has to do in some aspect, one way or another, with thought, right? And my path as a many things, because I'm more than one thing. You know what I mean? I'm an Army veteran, so that means that I'm a soldier. And the reason why I always say that before is because I know soldier is a term used in the street for meaning you're hardcore. I don't claim to be hardcore. I don't really even know what that means. But I'm also an artist, and I'm balanced, and one helps me out with the other, So anyway, everybody have a beautiful day. Maybe I said something that'll get your mind thinking, and maybe you can ask yourself, are you free? It's interesting, because like one of the last ones that I did had to do with being in prison. You see what I'm saying? I'm not even like connecting these dots together, but you can see naturally the line of progression of how I'm, kind of feeling, but definitely how I'm thinking. I go to bed at night thinking about being in prison and having my thoughts trapped. And then I have a revelation before I go to bed, realizing that even if my body was contained, my thoughts would be free. And the ironic part is my body is free and I feel like my thoughts are contained, because you can say anything in prison and not get in trouble. And the ironic part is that if you're outside in the free world, you have a lot more verbal limitations. It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. Just being honest. All right, beautiful people. Thank you so much for your time. You really do help me out. Just being able to express myself freely right now, presenting information to find an answer. So with that being mentioned, I'm Benja Welldone. Check me out. Peace.